This had been decided to be the perfect opportunity to launch an attack not just on the king, but Parliament itself. The 5th of November 1605 was the date for the opening of the Houses of Parliament. The King, James I, would be in attendance with his heir, Prince Henry, and this had been decided to be the perfect opportunity by a group of Catholic conspirators led by a man called Robert Catesby to launch an attack not just on the King, but Parliament itself. The Catholics were aggrieved after years of persecution. Any hopes they had of any leniency towards those following the Catholic faith in England under James had been thwarted, and now some of them saw no option but to take drastic action. The plot, had it been successful, would have succeeded in blowing up the Houses of Parliament, killing King James I and his heir Prince Henry. Although the authorities were aware that there were potential plots against the king from a disgruntled Catholic faction of the population, they were presented with what seemed concrete evidence of one of these plots. A letter sent to the Catholic MP Lord Monteagle warned him to stay away from the opening of Parliament. That gave the authorities both a place and a date. The letter was received by Lord Monteagle on the 26th of October. Now, although we don't know for sure who sent the letter, a likely candidate is his brother-in-law, Francis Tresham. There seems to have been a falling out between Tresham and two of the other conspirators, Catesby and Winter, in the first couple of days of November, where they accused Tresham of being an informer. However, the conspirators met again on the 3rd of November and decided to continue with their plans. On the 4th of November, a search of the Houses of Parliament, the House of Lords and the surrounding area was ordered. Guy Fawkes was discovered in the basement undercroft which the group had leased since March earlier that year with 36 barrels of gunpowder. This basement undercroft was located directly underneath the House of Lords. Guy Fawkes was arrested and taken to the Tower of London. On the 7th of November, a proclamation was made declaring these rebels as traitors, and Guy Fawkes began to make his confessions under torture. The conspirators arrived at Holbeach House in Staffordshire, where the next day they found themselves under attack by local militia. Some of the conspirators, including Catesby, the ringleader, were shot and killed at Holbeach House. The rest were arrested and brought back to London. The opening of Houses of Parliament went ahead on the 9th of November, where James I gave a speech including a description of the foiled plot. Had this plot been successful, it would have been the largest domestic terror attack to have happened in this country's history. The Gunpowder Plot was over 4 centuries ago, and yet the ceremonies, both public and private, continue to this day. We're all familiar with the bonfires and the fireworks of the 5th of November, and these were the celebrations which would follow the church ceremonies to give thanks for the saving of the king. The church ceremonies have waned over time, but the public celebrations have continued. We're all familiar with the public celebrations, but what about the private ceremony that I spoke about? Well, when the Queen attends the opening of Parliament each year, there is, prior to her arrival, a ceremonial procession through the cellars of the Houses of Parliament, just to check that no one is going to try and emulate Guy Fawkes again. In my possession from when I was a child, we had these Discovery history packs, if any of you remember them, and in there's one about the Gunpowder Plot, and there is an example of Guy Fawkes' signature prior and after being racked, but it just indicates the brutality of the rack.